Really quick before I start this review, I just wanted to give a shout out to a couple people that I've been having some really cool conversations with in my threads, and they've been very supportive of this new channel of mine. Jason the Horror, One Man Riot, Boss of Horror, Amara Red, and Zemimski. I think I said all those correctly. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Honestly, I look forward to continuing to talk with you guys in the future, and thanks again for the support. All right, let's talk about Residue. This is currently streaming on Netflix. It was just recently added. Someone asked me to watch this for them because they didn't want to watch it themselves because it looked too iffy for them. So I said, all right, I'll check it out. Why not? So I went on this completely blind, and I enjoyed it. It is a very bizarre, unique, different little indie film, and I do think that eventually it will find its place in, the cult followings. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the general consensus of this film will eventually be. But for now, I think because it's put on a major platform like Netflix and it's being presented to a wider audience of just regular film or casual film people, I think it's going to get a lot of hate. It's going to be turned off a ton. But it will find its audience because this movie has enough intrigue and it's unique and cool enough that it's eventually going to find its audience. I have no doubt about that. Now, this director recently just did a movie called Candyland. I have not seen it, but I have seen the trailer, and it kind of reminds me of William Friedkin. I can never say that name. William Friedkin. I always want to say Fredericken or something, and then I'm like, no, it's Friedkin. With Ashley Judd and Michael Shannon. It has that kind of feel to it just in the trailer, and it's something I've been looking forward to. So when I saw that he was the director, I was like, oh, cool, this guy. All right, let's see what he can do. And if this is a really cool film, I'll definitely go and check out Candyland. And while I didn't love this film, I was intrigued enough about it, especially by the ambition of the project, that the director even tried this with the minuscule budget that they had, that I'm definitely wanting to check out Candyland now. This film has it's a blending of genres. You've got, detective noir, you've got fantasy, you've got horror, you've got a lot of different things going on here. And it really tries to reach for a lot of things. Very Cronenberg-esque. And it reminds me of something like a Hellraiser Inferno, or like a Cast a Deadly Spell, or Witch Hunt, or a more recent movie called Fire City, where it's just, it's like a straightforward detective movie, but it has like all these like horror fantasy elements that are just randomly here and there, and you're just like, okay. And it has a lot of like, the film looks completely modern day, except for the gadgets and the technology that they use. So none of the clothes, none of the cars, none of the appliances, nothing. And like everything's totally how it normally, how it is right now. But then their like cell phones project images up in front of their faces, and their TVs project images up. And, there's a whole bunch of stuff like that in this film. This movie is about a private investigator who is hired by a small-time mob boss who also runs a tiny underground wrestling, like a WWF wannabe kind of wrestling circuit. And he hires him to take this package somewhere, no questions asked. Guys are after him, so he ends up taking it home. And when he opens it up, it's a journal. And when he starts reading this journal, things start to go wrong. Time becomes distorted. He starts seeing visions. Monsters are coming out of the walls, and he starts seeing things that aren't there. And, and his young daughter comes to stay with him, who he hasn't seen in forever, and she's starting to be affected by it. Neighbors are starting to be affected by it, and people who have been hired to spy on him are affected by it. So anyone who has any kind of contact with this, and I think the aim in the game is for him to be able to finish the journal, which no one's ever been able to do before. So as I said, it's a weird movie that has some rocky acting. There's some cool acting, and then there's some rocky acting. It has, and speaking of actors, it has the Smoking Man from the X-Files, Hoffman from the Saw series, and the Trash Can Man from the Stand miniseries. So a few recognizable faces in horror sci-fi genre. But I really I definitely want to commend the filmmakers and the cast and the crew for this film, because it truly is an ambitious project. And I like to see stuff like this. We need more stuff like this. As I said, even though it didn't hit all the right notes in places and it wasn't a perfect film by any means, it's a cool film. It's different. It's trying something new. It's trying to, be its own thing. And that is what is wonderful about checking out random indie films. You never know what you're going to get, and this is the kind of film that I want to watch. I always say that if I go to a movie and I walk out of the movie and I'm like, that was fine, that means I fucking hated it. Fine means that they didn't try anything new. They played by, the cliche playbook, and they took every single thing that they know people like boy goes after girl, and he gets in trouble, and he saves the day, and he gets the girl, and those movies are always going to be fine because they know that's what we like from past history, so they just kind of keep putting a new packaging on it and shipping it, and you're just like, okay, yeah, this is familiar, and I feel okay watching this, so yeah, it's fine. But there's other films that I can hate. I can be like, I fucking hated that movie, but I liked it more than the movies I thought were fine. Because now there are plenty of films I hated because they just sucked, but there's some films that I just didn't enjoy, but I respected their fucking trying something new. And I didn't hate this movie. I enjoyed this movie. So I'm not saying that in this instance, but I'm just saying that I love when films try something that hasn't been done before. Now, as I said, it does feel like some of these other movies, but it is definitely its own thing, for sure. This director did not just give you a paint-by-numbers horror. I say paint-by-numbers a lot. I know I say that, but it's one of my favorite ones because that's how it feels. It feels like everything's mapped out, and you have no creativity in paint-by-numbers. It's just, ones are blue and twos are green, and you just go and you follow the plan. And fuck that, man. Just take the paint and throw it all over the goddamn canvas if you want. Do something exciting. And this is what this film does. So I definitely think it's worth checking out if you're okay with watching something different, low budget, doesn't have the best, cinematography and this and that. Go into it with lower expectations, but enjoy what this crew, what these people were trying to give you. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point. It's 3 a.m, so I just wanted to come and talk about this while it's fresh on my mind. So let me know if you check it out. I'm very curious. There's very little reviews on this movie right now. It's pretty much brand new. It's a little Canadian film. I'm gonna check out Candyland soon. I want to see what he did with that. And as I said, please tell me what you think if you watch this. All right. Good night.